Hey there, I'm Marvin, and welcome to Duchy. In this video, I'm going to be narrating through a full playthrough of this game as the Tribe. The Tribe is a faction that you can acquire through a DLC, and is in my mind maybe the best faction to play once you've got a good handle of the basics and have played maybe a few runs as the Duchy. Now the Tribe is going to be a little bit more difficult to play, but if you are able to play it right, this faction can really lead to a pretty nice power spike early in the game that carries well through into the end game. Before we begin though, let's go ahead and take a look at how I like to set up my runs playing as the Tribe. We're going to dive into the progress tree here and look at the cards that I have enabled for this run. So first up, we're going to have Charcoal Kilns. This card grants 10 gold, at level 1, it grants 10 gold for each adjacent forest, and an additional 50 gold if you can completely surrounded by forest or border. And this is a nice card to get for the Tribe because ordinarily the Tribe doesn't really have any way of being able to gain a lot of gold, especially if you choose to leave behind river at the ends of Act 1 or 2. And instead, the Tribe focuses a lot on, or I should say, a lot of its mechanics depend on forest. And so being able to grab cards that also proc off forest is really great. And this is one that you can use to supplement your gold income that you would get from exploring rivers in Act 1 and get you some important upgrades. Moving up the line here, we will also be getting the usual exploration technology cards. So Lucky Finds, which at level 1 gives you a 20% chance to get double resources when exploring terrain, as well as Cartographers, which will explore incomplete rows with only one missing square. This is at level 1, and then up level 3 that will explore incomplete rows with up to 3 missing squares. And when playing as the Tribe, this comes particularly in handy because we might not be getting full rows by maximizing a different mechanic that I'll explain in just a little bit. Alrighty, moving up. Now, actually, one of the new things that the Tribe introduces are temporary buildings. These come in the form of cairns, which are 1 by 1 buildings that you're going to place every round. There's going to be 4 of them in total, and because they count as a temporary building, if you draft Compensation as a technology card at level 1, you get 4 food, wood, and gold for each temporary building, and this maxes out, I think, maybe at 12? I'm not sure at what it is at level 3, but you know, it's just a nice little bump, nothing crazy, but if you happen to get in, there's nothing. If you have an opportunity to draft Compensation, there's nothing better than just go for it. Now moving up the line here, this is where we really start to think about faction mechanics. So those cairns that I mentioned earlier, when you align them with each other, they will send each other troops, and they will send each other specifically heavy units. Because you're going to always, if you play this right and you place down 4 cairns that send each other units, you're always going to have at least 4 buildings with the same unit type, and that's why you want to draft Strength in Numbers. Even at level 1, when you chain all of these together, you're going to get at least 21 additional troops. And in fact, when you get up to level 3, I think that skyrockets to 45 additional troops. So this card can definitely help boost our military potential for this game. Along those lines, Tactical Advantage will provide 3 to 7 troops, depending on its level, when you place buildings adjacent with the same unit type adjacent to each other. Now, when we normally play a round, I will not be placing the cairns next to each other. In fact, that would be a bad thing. But for specific fights, and I'm thinking specifically boss fights, where maybe it's more important to recruit troops and it's less important to try to gain resources, then it is possible, or it might be advantageous, in fact, to place these buildings next to each other and take advantage of Tactical Advantage just to get a few additional troops and really make sure that you recruit enough to beat the boss. So that's pretty nice. No Mercy I'm going to keep in. This card gives 100 to 300 gold if you don't have an enemy building in reserve, which I think when we play this run, we should be able to win our rounds pretty comfortably, even with all the enemy buildings placed on the grid, and this will just get us a nice little supplement of gold to help upgrade our cards. Erudition I enable for every single run, and this is a card that I try to draft as early as possible. Having a 4th selection during card drafts can really help ensure that you get the cards you want earlier in the run, and really help you hit that power spike. Yeah, so I think that might be almost the end. Oh, here we go. Scavengers provides gold and stone for every time an enemy building loses troops. It's not obvious now, but the tribe has several unique mechanics that will cause enemy buildings to lose troops. So drafting this card is just a nice way to gain just a little bit additional gold and stone. In fact, that stone will come particularly in handy if there is a card we want to upgrade with stone, because the tribe otherwise doesn't really have a good way of collecting that resource. Finally, these are kind of my standbys for almost any round. The Thieves' Hideout is my favorite military card. This will draft 10 troops for any building within its radius of 2 squares, but you also lose 4 food, wood, and gold when that happens. It's ridiculous how many buildings you can fit within the radius of a Thieves' Hideout, and this is going to become very clear when we play as a tribe, because I can also throw in those temporary cairn buildings, those 1x1s that can very much squeeze in very closely to the Thieves' Hideout and really just absolutely balloon the number of troops that you can recruit with it. So this is going to be quite nice. And along those lines, we're always going to also enable the Blacksmith, because this is going to copy either the troops or the yields gained by one random adjacent building. This is by far the most overpowered card in the entire game. You always want to be placing this next to your most important buildings, like maybe the Thieves' Hideout, or there are other candidates depending on what faction you play, so we'll include this as well. Fantastic. Alright, so that is how we're going to tailor our progress tree for this run. Let me go ahead and get this started. So we're going to play this on hard. Normal, I think, is a little bit of a cakewalk if you have everything enabled and unlocked. Hard kind of keeps me a little bit more accountable. The garrison size gets a little bit bigger. It costs a little bit more to replenish your defense. Mercenaries cost more as well if you feel like you're in a pinch. But you know, this difficulty level isn't so hard that I absolutely need to cheese the game to win it. So this will be, I think, a good test of the fundamental mechanics that you'll see as the tribe. And so with that, let me talk a bit about our starting deck here. The Stone Circle and Ancient Alignment are the two that we're going to care the most about. So here we go. Ancient Alignment gives us 4 Cairns to our deck. Each Cairn recruits 4 heavy units for every other Cairn that's aligned. So if you can perfectly align your 4 Cairns, you can actually recruit up to 30, or you will recruit 32 heavy units for the round, which is actually pretty substantial, considering that you don't even need to get a single additional military building to make this happen. So that's part of what makes the tribe such a nice faction to play early on, is that you are almost guaranteed these 32 troops if you just make sure you do your placements correctly. But that's not all. So our goal is to try to basically surround as much terrain on the grid with these cairns as possible. And as long as we place our stone circle within that area, what will happen is that at the end of the round, we're going to explore some of the squares within that cairn area. At the start of this run, at a level 2 stone circle, we're only going to explore all the squares that are in a range of 3, which actually is still quite substantial. But if we are able to upgrade this to level 3, we will be exploring every single square within the cairn area, which is quite substantial. And it's again another part of what makes starting as the tribe so helpful. So essentially, as you'll start to see when I play this run, the goal is to stick one Karen in the bottom left, one in the bottom right, and then kind of make a guesstimate as to how high I'm going to be stacking my pieces during the round, and basically place a Karen on the top left and top right of what I'm going to be putting down, and making sure that all 4 are aligned, if I can make it. And sometimes I will not be able to, and it's not the end of the world if I don't. Now finally, the tribe also starts with this star chart technology card, which at level 1, after we use the constellation, we will gain a charge for every 20 squares explored this round. So for example, I typically like to use the Corvus constellation to change the shape of a piece when I think it doesn't look good. In this case, when that happens, I usually have to place an additional 5 pieces to recharge that constellation and use it again. But with the star chart, if I have already been placing pieces down and exploring squares, this technology card will help accelerate that process and let us use it more frequently. Corvus actually recharges fairly quickly. 5 placements is a fairly small number. There are other constellations that take a lot more, and Star Chart is a technology card you can use to kind of use those more expensive constellations more frequently. With that, let's go ahead and get our run started with some of the other things I've unlocked. I also get to start this run with 100 wood, 100 gold, and 70 defense. So let's go. Alright, Act 1. So if you have unlocked most of the tech tree, or at least up to Fortune Teller, this will be the first building that we will encounter. And the goal basically is to try to remove as many cards as we can that we don't actually want to play with. So I'm going to look around here and see the top one has 9 cards, and these other 2 have 5. Those 9 cards though include some cards that I may want to use. So in fact, I think what I might want to do is remove Adventure instead. That's fantastic. Okay, before we select our next destination, it's always helpful to kind of push up the path to see where we might end up along the way. So after our first round, we're going to choose between a guild and a university. One gives a building card, the other one a technology card. This early in the game, I am going to be needing building cards, I think, more often, so I will probably actually take one of these left paths so I can grab this. And then from there, we're going to move up and take a hostile region. Sometimes you'll run into cases where you can either choose between playing a hostile region, where you have to face enemy buildings, or a peaceful region. And you pretty much almost always want to pick the hostile one, because if you play the peaceful region, the final boss actually starts with a higher garrison, and that is something we'll want to avoid as much as possible. We get a depot to gain some additional resources, a trading fair where we can trade those resources, another set of hostile or peaceful rounds, one more set of depots, and then one final location where we might be able to gain or upgrade a card. So that actually all looks very good. So we'll go ahead and we're going to take this left-hand path here. Again, I mentioned earlier that the tribe likes forest a lot, so this is a good one for us to start with. And because it is the first round of Act 1, it will be a peaceful round. This is all about exploration. So here we go. And now you can see our Karens popping up here. So I'm going to make sure I plop those down in their respective corners. And then you can, and then with that, we're also going to need to think about grabbing that, placing down the third Karen somewhere further up high. Now, right now our stone circle has a range of 3, so we want to try to maximize that as much as possible. And in fact, if we place the piece like that, we should be able to actually get quite a few yields as a result. Let's see, this one, it's not the best. Oh, perfect. So we changed it to a long piece to help us really get that high up there. Ooh, I don't really have a good place to put this one though without creating a gap, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here. Alrighty, and so with that, I have 7 pieces left. I need to start thinking about how I can squeeze in the rest of the pieces and take advantage of the Karen. So I think I'm actually going to stop right here at this very top row, because also this stone circle right now only has a range of 3. So I'm going to stick one right here. And you can see they're gaining troops because they are perfectly aligned. Let's take this other one over here. Perfect. And get this last forest piece. And ta-da! And you saw there, sorry, the animations are a little bit quick, but at the very end I got an extra round of exploration that gave me even more resources, so that was very nice. Ooh, okay, let's get the sacrificial site. So, this is one of the unique buildings for the tribe. Let me open that up so we can take a look at it. So the sacrificial site at level 1 removes 3 enemy troops from every enemy building adjacent to a connected forest. So, and then from that, we're going to recruit 1 heavy unit for each troop removed. So essentially, it's a trade. We get to siphon enemy troops and also recruit troops for our own. And what we need to do is to connect this sacrificial site to a forest network and make sure all the other enemy buildings are also connected to the forest network, as long as they're not a type that actually recruits off forest. So for example, if we run into a wooden fortress, or there's another one that starts with R, like a range or something, those recruit off forest, we probably will not actually connect those to the forest network, because the additional troops that they will recruit will be more than what we get from the sacrificial site. So it depends. But yeah, it's a very cool card to have. Let's go ahead and see what we can get. So we can pick a building card from the guild. There are some interesting options here at the top. One that works with forest, which I think gets it even further down. Oh, here we go. Ranger base is the other one we have to watch out for. Or the one that works off rivers. And we don't actually know if we're going to do rivers yet. So I'm going to select this forest one. And we'll grab the charcoal cones. So far we don't really have any additional military buildings going into this first hostile round, which makes things a little bit more difficult. But that's fine. The whole point is to be able to make do with what we got, and let's see if we can't use what we have to make that work. So we're gonna include these 2 new buildings that we got. Look at our enemy deck, strongholds, and a mercenary camp. That's gonna be rough. Strongholds recruit units for any adjacent empty square, which sometimes can be a bit challenging to pull off while we're also trying to line up our Karens and everything else. So let's see how this goes. Alright, and already here we're going to see our enemy buildings coming into play. We want to make sure again that if we can connect... here we go, let's see. So in this case, we're going to place this piece like this. And you can see, boom, we just removed 3 troops from that building right there, which is fantastic. Let's undo that. Can I? Yes. Oh, I don't know if I can get this charcoal cone to work out. Unfortunate. So we're gonna place this here instead. Okay. And now let's keep going. Alright. It's gonna be a bit hard to extend that. Oh, I don't know if I can extend that forest network. Oh, it looks like I can stick it right here. We're gonna put this up top. Oh, I don't know if I can... Oh, I don't know if I can align that, actually. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to fully align my Karens, because there's no such thing as a 2x1 square I could fit right here, unfortunately. But you know what? That's okay. That's just sometimes how it goes. So instead, I am going to place this piece here and put this last one here. So you'll notice that this Karen is 1 row higher. At the very end of this round, the Karen area... it's not going to take this into account for the top edge. It's going to take the second innermost one, this Karen here on the right. So this rectangle will be like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alrighty. With that though, let's see. We're going to Place this here. Place this here. And I could just leave that in reserve. But here, if you showcase it, you see that removes troops. I'm actually going to leave it in reserve, though. Because we're actually going to fight at a disadvantage if we try to face off against it, so... Beautiful. Alrighty. And, let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? So, in this case, we obviously only have heavy troops. There's really nothing you can do about that. And one of the things to take into account when playing hostile rounds is the combat wheel. So, to complete this combat phase, we need to select an order for all the troops to fight each other. You can see I need to select all of them, and then I can start battle. What you want to take into account when you're doing so is the combat wheel and the fact that each type has an advantage over a different type. So in this case, heavy units that I have advantage over light units, the sword, which you don't see on this screen right now, and then range units, these arrow ones, have advantage over heavy units. So if I fight this, I actually lose out. When you have an advantage, you get 50%, you deal 50% more damage. That being said, there are rules that come into play when you combine units from the same team. So you see that when I'm putting this together, I go from 4 to 8 because these two added together equal 8. When they're a different type, though, there are rules, and usually, basically, whichever group has the higher count, it becomes that type. But when they are the same, it is the second type that takes precedence. So if I take this 11 and add it to this 11, it actually becomes 22 heavy instead of 22 range. That will let me avoid having to fight at a disadvantage. So I'm going to string that first and then select my own friendly troops, and you'll see by the end of this all, I'm actually going to come up on top like that. And in fact, had I kept that other stronghold in play, I would not have been able to win this completely clean. Oh, erudition. Let's grab that. Let's look at our cards. I need some food to get the stone circle up to max, so I'm going to grab the food. Oh, actually, no. We have a training fair coming up, so I'm actually going to grab the wood, and then maybe I can trade it for food. So I'm going to grab the wood. In fact, I'm going to get greedy and take a hit of 15 to my defense. Again, this is my defense on the top right-hand corner. If you don't win fights, any leftover hostile troops gets taken away from your defense, and if your defense ever reaches 0, then you're toast. That's the end of your run. At these depots, you can choose to take a hit. If you have enough, you can choose to take a hit to your defense to get even more resources. So I'm going to do that. And then at the trading fair, you'll be able to trade resources based on what you have, or you can trade a level 1 card, and you get a nice big bonus as a result. So instead of 250 wood, for example, for 250 food, I get to get double food back. So that is fantastic. And now I have a whole ton of resources to play with. Going forward, then, we want to make sure, again, that we're always playing hostile rounds. So we're going to have to take this left-hand path here and go over this way. And with all those resources, I'm going to upgrade my stone circle. And I may even go ahead and upgrade my sacrificial site, which takes that from 3 to 7. It's a nice boost. And we're going to have a few more wood to work with this round, so maybe we can take advantage of that as we are placing enemy buildings. Let's take a look. Alright, so Karen's in the bottom. This. Okay, and actually now that I have my, oh, there's that other one. Okay, I guess I'll actually just place this on top. I'm gonna play, now that my stone circle is full at level 3, it doesn't matter where I place it as long as it's within the Cairn area. So I don't need to be quite so exacting in my placing the down. So I'm gonna place that here, like that. The thing that you want to do with... Oh, shoot. I should have done that the other way around. That's okay. I can still make this work. Alright. So... Nope, that doesn't look good. That's not going to look pretty, but we'll do it like this. That. Now remove some troops. Now I desperately need a force piece down along this edge here. Unfortunately, it does not seem like I'm getting it. Come on. How terrible are you guys? Alright, here we go, here we go. I can do this like here. And then do this like here. Like this. And there we go. That removes both of them. Perfect. Unfortunately, my poor Chocolkins again didn't have an opportunity to recruit any get any wood. Sorry, get any gold. But that's okay. Explore, and we're done. And once again, we have a case where we only have heavy units and they have other types. We want to avoid the range, so I'm going to do this to change it all to light, and now we have a huge advantage. We're going to come out with quite a few more. Beautiful. Alright, so that's the power of the sacrificial site when you're able to connect all these enemy buildings to a forest that then also connects to the site itself. Pretty nice stuff. Let me see. That was... Here we go. We removed 21 units as for our efforts there, which is quite nice. Alrighty. Not the best options. We'll go grab compensation. I should note down that when you get to the draft, you have the opportunity to re-roll. Because I've played some matches prior to this playthrough, I have some free ones. And you might as well, but I'm going to avoid using those re-rolls because if you don't have free ones, it costs 50 gold, I think, and you may not have that luxury, so I'm going to assume, worst case scenario, that you don't. This one, we're not going to have any sacrificial site opportunities because it's all plains and river. Unless we change our constellation. Again, we've been using Corvus to change the terrain shape, but we can also pick the Lepus charge, which Lepus constellation, which lets you convert a terrain piece into forest, but that takes 10 charges to get up. Normally that's kind of a pain in the butt, but because we have our star chart technology card, it won't take quite as long to make that happen. So let's see if we can make that work. Upgrades, nothing that I want to do at the moment, except maybe I'm going to upgrade erudition, just so we can have higher level cards available to us at the draft. Alright, so we gotta charge this thing up. Oops, actually. Let's see. All right, now we need to start thinking about changing this to forest. I don't know if this actually is going to trigger or not. Let's see. Oh, it does trigger off that. I'm going to put that over here. And put this over here. Oh, I just went off. Let's put this here. This here. Alright, so we're not going to get as good exploration for this. That's okay. Alright, this here. Ooh. How do I do this so that I can get both? Do it like that. And then I'm going to place this here. And now I have enough to change another forest piece. If I do it like this, I'll connect both of these to my site. And voila. We got ourselves a little bit more to play with. Can I get both of these? Oh. Like this. Like this. Alrighty. So you see, not quite as clean of a round there, but you know, we managed to squeeze in a few forest pieces. Again, we're gonna, in this case, switch things to heavy. Unfortunately, we're gonna lose this fight. But again, because we have defense, it doesn't mean game over. This is the challenge of having not getting any really decent military buildings. Ranger base is not really that great. So we're going to take this one. Okay. And then, let's see. Do we want gold or do we want food? Looking at our upgrades, it does seem like we could use a little bit of gold. But yeah, why not? Let's go for gold. Take that. Let's go up to our village. We can gain some defense back, or we'd be able to draft a card. Let's see what we can get. Ooh, interesting. This one also will allow us to reduce some troops within the area. So I think the War Council is a unique tribe military building that recruits range units for every 6 squares explored at level 1. And that goes down to maybe 1 range for every 4 squares explored, I think, at level 3. I've never really been able to recruit a lot of troops with the War Council. Conceptually, it makes sense because with the stone circle mechanic, you can explore additional squares at the end of the round, but I don't know, it just doesn't really add up as well as some of the other military cards that we can get. Lushwoods is really great because you can gain food for exploring forests, which means you can actually leave behind plains to be able to take advantage of that. So, but we kind of need some help from the military standpoint, so I'm going to pick the law court going into the gate. And so there's 2 options we can go here. We can try to encircle the enemy buildings in our Cairn area to take advantage of law court, or we can try to take advantage of tactical advantage by placing all our cairns right next to each other. And if we do that, I think you can get, let's see, it would be +6, I think, if we put it in a square, like a 2x2 square, you can get +6 for each one, which would be 24 total, which is not nothing. So, you know, and let's see, in this case, law court, you lose 6. There's going to be 3 enemy buildings, so that's 18. So I think the tactical advantage is better, though law court, we can also do some exploration. So, oof, we'll just have to see how this cooperates. 127 is a lot. I may choose to spend some gold and get a mercenary camp. I don't usually like using mercenaries, but they're definitely warranted if you are feeling concerned at all about winning the round, or surviving the round, I should say. That is the ugliest position to get. Does this trigger it? Yes, it does. Unfortunate. Okay. We're going to stick that here. Strategic pavilions will recruit troops based on adjacent military buildings. The cairn is considered one, so Alrighty. The way that this first boss works, this is the gate. When you have placed down enough pieces, this gate opens up and you can now place pieces in this area. So it very much restricts your ability. You have to have very tight gameplay to make it work. But you know, that's just how this thing rolls sometimes. So there you go. Let's do that. And generally speaking, we're going to let's see, we're gonna stick this over here. Oh, nope, that's right, there lines. Maybe stick this over here. Let's see if we can't get another forest in that spot. So let's see if we we're gonna really stack it up. Oh, wait, no. Stack it up to there. And then that should be able to be just enough to get all these. If we put another one over here, this cairn, then that will encapsulate these two, and that'll be enough to reduce the troops. Oh, undo. That was triggering that recruitment event, so. Whoops. Oh, I should have changed this back to Corvus. I made that mistake. That's okay. Hold on. What do I want to do here? I want to make sure that. Okay, maybe I do it like this. So we have those connected. Last cairn goes here. And our sacrificial site goes here. And now we drain those troops from these two buildings and the boss itself. So that was really lovely. I can put this up here. Put this up here and avoid that being recruited. And then from here, it's mostly just about placing down pieces to get additional exploration yields. So don't have to get too crazy with this. There we go. You saw that law core kicked in and reduced these troops even further. Question is, do we have enough to win the fight? So we're facing mostly heavy troops. We can actually decrease some of these just by light has an advantage over range, so we can at least win that with an advantage. But otherwise, we're going to need to add these up like that, and we're going to lose by 14, which is fine because we can still take it. Nice. So, in that round, we were able to remove 12 units thanks to Law Court, and then 21 units thanks to Sacrificial Site, allowing our Sacrificial Site to recruit 33. That's actually pretty good. I know we didn't actually win the round, but this is pretty good considering that right now I don't even really have any powerful military buildings, so hopefully we'll get one soon. We're getting this blacksmith. This is actually very good if we have another building to pair with it, which we don't, but maybe we'll get one. Let's take the blacksmith. And with that, I am going to leave behind probably the river because I have my charcoal kilns up, which means I can get gold if I'm able to find ones with a lot of forest. Here's a guild. That's perfect. Hopefully we'll get ourselves a nice military building. Let's see. There's some options here. They're not too great. I don't want a production building. And this one is okay too. So, these options aren't really quite as good, so I'm going to grab this one and get the hidden cave. It's not my favorite, but it's better than nothing. So we're going to keep on rolling up here. Time to spend some wood to unlock an additional slot. And I'm actually going to take out that charcoal kiln because right now we don't need the gold as much as we need just getting military buildings there. Alright, place of arms and training camps. So basically we just want to make sure that the training camps don't align with place of arms, because place of arms will recruit additional troops when you do that. Ooh. Oh, I keep forgetting to change my constellation. Unfortunate. That's okay. I'll just... if I place this like this, and then I'm gonna place this here. This here. Ugh, this is not the prettiest, but it will work. Boom. Okay. And then my hidden cave recruits off connected forest and mountain pieces, which right now I don't have a whole lot, so let's let me keep building up. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have to place it. Alright. Let's see. We're gonna place this. Let's see, like this. It's not the best, but alrighty. And then I need to get that fourth cairn up and running, which I can do, I think, if I do like this. Like this. This will make sure that doesn't line up. And that fourth cairn lines up perfectly. Boom. Alright. Nice. Oh, you see that sacrificial site is actually coming in very clutch. And the blacksmith is taking advantage of it as well. So, well, again, we don't have any range troops for these heavies, but instead we can connect them up like this to force them all to be light troops, and then we'll make them attack our heavy troops for a disadvantage. And look at that. We're going to win with plenty of troops to spare. This would have been beautiful setup for the boss fight. And really the main difference is that I was able to get a nice force network going to really amplify the recruitment of my sacrificial site, and then double it with the blacksmith as well. You know what? I just might get the No Mercy card, so I don't have to rely on my charcoal kilns. Oh, I don't know. Nope, trim mill crane. We're gonna reduce upgrade costs. Alright, another guild. Can we get maybe a better military building? Let's see. That's, again, sucky. Thieves' Hideout is the one I really want to be able to showcase if we can get lucky enough to draft it. But we don't. So, in this case, you know, I'm just going to take this one, I guess. Unfortunate, but that's okay. That's just how it rolls sometimes. Alright, let's keep going. Not as many... And because there are so many more planes, I am actually going to hold on to this constellation, even though I said I was going to change it back to Corvus, but we're not going to, since we have that issue. No cards that I really want to upgrade at the moment. Let's go ahead and get the round started. Alright, we got a horse stable coming right up. I don't really see a good place to put it though, so that's very annoying. That 4 is going to go there. Ooh, did I do that right? Yep, squeeze it in. Alrighty. Okay, we need to place 2 buildings like this and then change that to a forest, so that should work out okay. I'm going to do this, do this, do this, change this to a forest. That's touching both pieces now, and voila. I'm going to connect our blacksmith over on this side. Oh, and that should really go there, so... none of these pieces fit very well, unfortunately. I'm going to say I am not the best Tetris player, so... Oh, I don't want to actually do that, though. Maybe do this. Beautiful. Alrighty. I was thinking about putting that stone circle right here, where the mountain piece is, but then being adjacent to the blacksmith might actually duplicate the yields of the stone circle rather than take the troops from the sacrificial site, and I did not want that to happen. So that is why I kind of create this weird, not very optimal placement over here. Place all these here on the right hand side. I think that should be able to work. Oh, but that's not optimal. Okay, that's fine. Put this one square higher. We're done, just like that. Perfect. Okay, and this is going to be a bit like the last one. So we're going to turn everything into a light troop to fight our heavy troops. Voila. Alrighty. Let's hope for a thief's hideout. Nope. Alrighty. Ooh, I'm going to take this card though, because we are actually a little bit lacking defense, and that can be used to replenish it. Interesting. We're gonna... Alright, let's go up here. So let's see, we can get an exploration card. That could be useful, or any technology card. Let's see if we can't get strength in numbers, though. No. Okay. So, in that case, let's take cartographers. We're going to go up here, grab the food, and then I'm going to just go for a Hail Mary and select one of these cards that I don't like and see if we can't get something better. Nope. I mean, that was actually, no, that was better, but not really what I'm looking for. We're gonna sell that reservist card. Do we sell it right now? We'll try to win the fight. 153. Oof. So many troops, and they're all mostly... Ugh, that is not the type we like. Alrighty. This could get ugly, but I think we can make it work. Nope, I'm gonna sell this just in case. So we're gonna convert this into defense, get back up to a full 70, and we could unlock even more slots. I just don't know that there's anything I want to unlock right now, or additional buildings I want to add. I might just go ahead and upgrade this to level 3. Let's see how that works. Interesting. Vantage point. Recruits 4 for each connected playing field or adjacent mountain pieces. So, we are going to try to see if we can't use this. Like that. This. Alrighty, and so let's keep building. Let's keep building up. We'll get that blacksmith in. Okay, and then maybe we change this to a forest. Look. And do we still have... We only have one more enemy building that one right over there, so... we're gonna place this here. Place this here. Beautiful. Okay, is that gonna be enough for the cairn area? We have... I don't know that I'm gonna be able to place these very optimally. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in. Like that. I was thinking about whether or not I can place my cairns maybe 1 or 2 rows higher and just squeeze in a little bit more exploration gains, but I don't know. In my experience, it's safer just to take the surefire perfect alignment when you can. Beautiful. Oh, lovely. Okay. So we're going to take out these heavy troops first before merging with light. And I'm going to take these out. Like that. Nice. So you can see the sacrificial site can be quite powerful, but it really works best on normal rounds. As soon as we start hitting the boss round, that's when things can start getting ugly. So, so do we want another one? I don't think we want another one. We will probably just get scavengers in this case. Alright, the keep. Okay, I could really use... I really need better military buildings. Unfortunately, all I got is this hidden cave. Maybe I want to consider upgrading now. So, recruits 2 for each connected forest piece. And 6 for each connected mountain piece. We'll upgrade this. And then maybe I'm going to... No, I'm not going to upgrade that. Alright, and we're going to try to get a little cheesy with our tactical advantage as well. Let's see. Well, the towers. Okay, so the towers... Act 2 boss has this unique mechanic where if you place a building anywhere in the line of sight of the towers, which is represented by the squares with these eyeballs on it, Those towers will recruit, in this case, 17 troops, which is not what we want. So we want to try to find a way to get buildings placed somewhere where they're not in those eyeballs. And mostly that means getting some terrain here in the center so you can place it up on top. That's mostly what we're going to do here. I'm going to place this here. And now in this, we're not going to do any... We're going to be cheesy on our placement of cairns here, so... where can we place this card next? I'm wondering how I'm going to place my hidden cave to try to maximize its recruitment. I don't know if I can maybe do it like that. Oh, now I gotta do my sacrificial site. I maybe should not have enabled this building. How many pieces do I have left? 3 forests and let's see if I can't connect all of these. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just trying to think about how I can connect all of this together more feasibly. Maybe do it like this. Oops. No. Only collected 18. Oh, it's so annoying. This, get a little bit more. All right, I don't know if this is gonna be enough. Ooh, that is not looking good. I really wish I had strength in numbers. You could really showcase what? 41. Oh, just barely. Ooh. Strength in numbers or a Thieves' Hideout would have really showcased what you could do against a boss like this, but that is just how the dice roll sometimes. Okay, so... let's see. Do I really want... do I need stone? A little bit, but not that much. So... I'm actually going to take... oh, terrible. I'm going to take the Druid Hut. Replenish our defense. Oh, we just squeaked by that one. I'm going to leave behind... oh, maybe I leave behind plains in this case. I just don't know if I... yeah. Alright, let's go. Onto the guild. Oh, okay, maybe we can finally get our Thieves Hideout from that one. I'm just showing all 3 different categories here, but Thieves Hideout. Yes! Oh my goodness. Okay, finally. Alright, let's show the power of this card. I'm going to build like this. Okay, let's check our pathing. Left, I think, looks a little bit better. Well, actually, I want this wood, so we're going to go left. Grab another guild. Maybe center. Oh, sorry. I have to go center. And then... Okay, that really doesn't all matter. So, let's go. Take the wood. Upgrade this to level 3. And then we're going to go here. I'm going to take out the hidden cave and just go with the Thieves Hideout. Do we have enough for another building? We do. We're going to take the Druid Hut. And all right, let's see what we can do with this round. I really wish I got strength in numbers. That can really showcase just the power of this deck here. So, oops, correct. I'm gonna do it like this. This. Does that work? Yes, that does not lie. Okay, good. And we can go ahead and just plot this down. Boom! 60 troops, just like that. Very beautiful. More troops. I'm going to line this up like this. Line that up like this. And then we can plot this here and reduce some troops. Beautiful. I think I'll stick the glass cairn up here. Where is my blacksmith? I really want to put my blacksmith right down here. But if I keep on just getting other... There we go. If I just can't get it... Okay, here we go, finally. Boom. Boom. Alrighty, thank goodness. 1, 2, perfect alignment. We're gonna do it like this, and like this. Whoa, look at that. 106. Beautifully done. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to again try to focus on creating light troops to fight our heavy troops. Wow. That Thieves... I didn't even actually need the blacksmith or the Thieves Hideout. But for the boss fight I will. So, nicely done. And for our troubles, we also explored this Druid Hut and got ourselves 26 defense back. Excellent. There. Let's get a church. Why not? Alrighty. Something on mountains. I don't care about mountains. Something that processes food. Actually, if anything, what I really need is more forest, or more wood. This lumber camp, though, harvest 3 for each connected forest is honestly just doesn't really scale that well. So, Whatever, we'll try it. Here, we'll grab this. Okay. I don't even have enough wood to unlock another site. Another building slot, excuse me. And I don't know that there's any upgrades here that I really want to pursue, except that lumber camp. Once I'm able to actually slot it in, we can maybe upgrade cartographers just so that we can explore a few more incomplete rows. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this round. We got a bunch of buildings that basically work off mountains, so just avoid mountains is the name of the game. Okay. How do we do this? Recruits it in a range of 2. Ugh. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna have to trigger this thing. So we'll do this. And this. I need the castle I don't want to deal with right now, so place this here. Here. Get some more. Oh, I could really use that blacksmith. But we're not going to get it, so we may not get it in time. I need this cairn also placed as well. Whatever, we're going to play it risky. Oh, bad move. Here. Where is my... Where's my blacksmith? Even my other cairn is coming up. Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Oops. Did not want to do that. We'll get some places here. Alright, now it's time to stack. Stack things up. So I can get that other cairn placed. Like that. Cool. Alright, whoosh. Alrighty. Let's see how we can fight this one out. Again, I don't want these kind of troops. So I'm going to make it all fight as ranged against my light. And done. Our blacksmith did not copy the building I wanted. It copied the cairn instead of being tied up, but even after all the trouble I went through to try to line it up perfectly, but that's okay. Also, our defense got completely topped off, which is beautiful. Whenever you explore a forest, also gain 2 food. I don't actually know if I need more food at this point, or do I need gold maybe? Because most of my buildings that I care about that need food are already upgraded. So I might actually take this one instead. Lushwoods, though, is usually a card I'd love to take early on in my try playthroughs. So, okay, we're going to do that. And maybe, let's go over here. Alright, do we want to spend 200 wood to unlock another slot? At this point, I don't even know that there's another building worth playing other than maybe the lumber camp just to get some more wood. But we'll have to spend wood just to upgrade it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's worth it. We're just going to play it as is. Oh, the Heretic Slayer. Hate the Heretic Slayer. Alright, that building, it reduces your faith when you align any other building with it. It is extremely annoying. How am I going to do this? Nope. I can't align this training tower anymore to make it unfortunate. Okay. Ooh, can I possibly do this without... I can do this, and then I can do this, and I'll take out some troops. We're just gonna block this off. It's not optimal, but that's okay. I'm gonna change this. There we go, we grabbed that other one. So now we have two that have been depleted. Alrighty, and then at this point we're just going to finish out the round. So let's... whoops. Always try to not use Wasteland because... Here, I'm going to cheese this. We're going to prematurely end the round. Oops. So, No Mercy should kick in because I did not leave a building in the reserve slot, but I also don't have to fight it because this guy is out of bounds. So they really have a lot less troops than you normally would have expected. So, very, very cool. I don't know that we can actually win this out without just using my heavy units. Unfortunately, not enough. Alright, very nice. Let's hope for strength in numbers. That's the card I really want, so I can just showcase how ridiculous it is. Come on. Okay. I can maybe make one more go at... Do I don't want to... No, I don't need to do that. So, I'm going to trade my charcoal kilns. Strength in numbers! No! Alright, so we're not going to see that one in action, unfortunately. But, let's see what we got. In this case, I'm not going to need the Druid Hut anymore. Do I need a church? I don't really need a church either. Maybe we will... Can we upgrade our hidden cave? We can. What do we got? We have a lot of... Yeah, we have a lot of those, so... Let's upgrade this. And then... I think we can start... Do we have things here that we can sell? That we maybe don't care about? It's just for gold. So, I think it's fine. Let's go ahead and upgrade this. Okay, let's go ahead and fight the final boss. Here we go. Alright, the Basilica Act 3 boss has a unique mechanic where any of these conversion squares that are uncovered at the end of each turn will add to this conversion number, and if you place a friendly building down with a garrison lower than the conversion number, that building is going to get converted to the enemy, which is kind of rude if you ask me, but this is kind of how it works. So the way to deal with that is to either delay putting down those buildings as much as possible, or and focus on getting rid of these squares, kind of like that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stop this one, so unless what if I do it like this? And then I do it like this? I don't know if that was worth it, to be honest. We're gonna put this... Oh, I should not have done that. Okay, it's fine. I need to trigger this. I need to trigger this conversion at least one time and eat it all up so that I can at least place one building down. Like that. Alrighty, let's see. How many more buildings do I have? 3 buildings left. Oh, did it convert my blacksmith? Dang. Oh, that's annoying. I was not expecting that at all. Oh, what a pain in the butt. Are we at risk of losing this? I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I could not show off the... Alright. It's fine. We're still gonna win, though. I hope. Let's see. Hold on. Let's start with the heavy troops. Take out these troops. And then we go to our troops. So. We're not gonna win the fight, but we're gonna survive. Oh, they converted my blacksmith. I also didn't get strength in numbers. But it's a win. It's a win. There we go. Victory. And there you go. That is a narrated playthrough of the tribe on hard difficulty in Drop Duchy. I think overall a average run. It was not the optimal run because I was really hoping to showcase kind of the cheesy strategy of getting strength in numbers along with a Thieves' Hideout, and if you stack all those cairns right next to each other with strength in numbers, you can recruit a ridiculous number of troops, and all those cairns stuck next to the Thieves' Hideout also greatly increases that building recruitment. Add that to the blacksmith, which I did get. You can easily, be topping, I don't know, 400 troops by the end of that round. And that's just off of one Thieves' Hideout, let alone if you get 2, that just makes it even better. But you know what? Still, it was, I think, a very clean run that showcased to you some of the unique mechanics of the tribe. So to recap what that is, in a normal run, a normal round of Tetris, not the cheesy thing I did there for the boss, your goal is to stick those cairns in the corners of the grid with the stone circle in the center. And as you saw, you get to get a lot of additional exploration resources because of that stone circle effect. And in addition to that, with Law Court, any enemy buildings that are within that cairn area also lose troops. And tack that on with a sacrificial site that you can hopefully connect to a forest network that also connects to all the enemy buildings, and you can get a sacrificial site even level 2. I was recruiting up to what, like 60 plus troops, which is very respectable for a level 2 building. And that was what we actually relied upon with our blacksmith to really amp up our recruitment numbers. Now, with that all said, I think this run also showcased, though, some of the limitations of playing as the tribe. Normal hostile rounds are fairly easy to get through because of that sacrificial site gameplay, being able to siphon troops off 3 or 4 enemy buildings. However, when you play a boss round, then all those troops are concentrated on one single boss garrison, and sacrificial site only procs once against that boss, and that's it. We got it to work a little bit against the gate Act 1 boss because the gate at least includes a few additional buildings, but by Act 2 and Act 3, those bosses just had one single enemy group, and we barely survived that second round one. Not barely, but it was, not the cleanest fight. And by Act 3, we were really relying, I think, on the Thieves' Hideout instead to gain the number of troops that we needed. So playing as the tribe, I think, is definitely still very viable. It's a really fun faction to play, but you definitely need to keep in mind that you'll need some other strong military building like the Thieves' Hideout or maybe the military hospital. There's others that you can choose from as well. You need something like that to really carry you through to the end of Act 3 on hard difficulty or higher. So there is that limitation there, but you know what? I still think it's a fantastic faction to play. It's a challenge, but it's fun to get those cairns stuck in the corners and then try to build up along the left and right border so that you can stack a cairn on the top. My basic, I guess I never narrated this, but my basic mentality is that once I get the first 2 down, then I try to build up tiles on one side so that I can get the third one down. If I can't, I keep that third cairn in reserve until I'm able to get a good enough amount of height there. So that's typically how I play out a normal round. Once the stone circle is fully upgraded and you get to explore every square within the cairn area. But yeah, it's not easy. So the tribe is a faction that is certainly, I think, more difficult to play than the Duchy, which you'll start off with when playing this game, but it also offers a lot more interesting mechanics to take into account. Yeah, so that I think is everything I'm going to be talking about in this run. If you have any questions about what happened or want me to elaborate any more on the mechanics of the tribe, please leave a comment below. Happy to answer all your questions on this. My name is Marvin. I run Buddy Up Gaming with my family, where we create videos to encourage families to game together. And this is one of our favorites. This is a game that is single player. You're not going to be playing this with your kids or your friends like in a multiplayer game like Mario Kart, but it's still fun to share because it's such a dynamic game to play. My son really loves this game a lot, and he's always hanging around whenever I'm playing it, asking questions about my strategies and critiquing me when he feels that I am not placing my pieces optimally, which is a lot more commonplace than you might expect. So it's a game that we enjoy a lot, and I think you all would be able to enjoy it just the same as well. So thank you all so much for watching this narrated playthrough. Hope you have a good one and take care.